permits that are so heavily redacted that they are useless. The current lack of these tools has allowed, for example, docs to get away with reporting as unknown the cause of 199 deaths of individuals in docs custody since the year 2000.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
You can believe it. In at least 21 of those cases, docs redacted the cause of death in their reports entirely. Without the video footage that Attorney General Tish James publicly released showing the fatal beating of Robert Brooks at Marcy, we might be looking at yet another report from docs, completely redacted, with no public knowledge of what happened to Robert Brooks.
Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks!
Now, as I've mentioned, these three bills are only a few among a much longer list. Today, I would like to recognize and thank the advocates who have been fighting for these reforms for many years, many of whom are with us here today. Our partners in this effort include, and are not limited to, Release Aging People in Prison campaign, the Halt Solitary campaign, the Jails Justice Network, New Hour for Women and Children, the Alliance of Families for Justice, the Communities Not Cages Coalition, and many more. In this somber moment, I am also encouraged to say that we have had positive conversations with docs and with the executive chamber, but Robert Brooks' death has made one thing very clear.
Shut it down! 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 We're clear!
Robert Brooks' death has made very clear that we have an immediate obligation to act so as to prevent this from ever happening again.
Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
We must all remember that incarcerated individuals are our fellow New Yorkers, members of our families, our communities.
That's right.
And while that should be sufficient, the vast majority will also eventually return home to our communities.
That's right. Yes, we do. They don't kill them.
Violence against anyone, that's right, in our prisons today begets trauma and violence in our communities tomorrow. That is how this works.
That's right.
New Yorkers expect us. They have entrusted us as legislators to fight for their safety.
And humanity.
And humanity. In part, this means passing these bills. It means closing Marcy, which is long.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
Of violence and misconduct. This is why, along with Assemblyman Gibbs, with the chair of the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic Asian Caucus, Mikhail Solage, I sent a letter signed by many of you here, more than 60 legislators 2 weeks ago, calling for Marcy to be closed.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
We know we are going to need the governor in this fight ultimately, and I will note that she and her staff have kept an open, positive, and constructive.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
We share a commitment to bringing long overdue change to docs. Despite our differences, the governor and I have worked together before to achieve progress for New Yorkers on tough issues. We expect to partner on this with support from my colleagues in government, following the vision and unrelenting work of human rights advocates across the state. It is time for us to take swift and bold action to achieve public safety for all New Yorkers, those inside and those outside. It does not have to be this way. And it can be better. It is up to all of us to make it so.
Hold up, Robert Brooks, should not be accountable. Should not turn into a death sentence. Arrest the murderers! Arrest the murderers! Arrest the murderers! Arrest the murderers! Lock their ass up! Lock their ass up! Say that again.
I want to quickly introduce Ronnie who is going to
Come on, Ronnie.
share some remarks.
Talk about it, Ronnie.
We love you, Ronnie.
Talk about it, Ronnie. We got your back.
Yeah. Hi,
No retaliation here.
my name is Ronnie Minter, and I'm the founder of the Freedom of Shackle Coalition. We are also a member of the People's Campaign for Rural Justice, but today I'm speaking to you as a formerly incarcerated woman. During my time at Albany Correctional Facility, I witnessed unspeakable violence against the women in there. 90% of it was committed by the correctional staff. When we were threatened or assaulted, we had nowhere to turn. Because let me give you an example. If we were threatened or assaulted by an officer's side, how could we report him to the depth of security, depth side, who was his brother? The nepotism runs rampant within the Department of Corrections.
That's right.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks.
The murder of Robin Brooks by the correctional staff, who incidentally are still not charged, has opened the eyes of many who didn't realize what we, the formerly incarcerated, already know. This happens all the time.
All the time. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Yo, raise your hand if it happened to you while you was in there while we here. Raise your hand, because it happened to me in more than one jail. You can keep talking, sister.
Just recently, the Freedom of Shackle Coalition was made aware of a brutal beating at Albany County Jail at the hands of correctional officers, 2 within the last 2 weeks. Let's be clear, incarcerated men are not the only ones being brutally beaten by correctional staff. Incarcerated women endure the same violent attacks. These abuses are far too common and demand immediate action. We need true oversight, an independent entity not staffed by former correctional officers. And this oversight must extend to parole officers. My parole officer raped one of his parolees. Too many incidents go unreported of fear of retaliation or losing a chance of release. These abuses occur in state prisons, city jails, county jails, and even youth facilities. Senator Salazar's 3-bill approach is a critical step toward reform. But we also need parole justice. Pairing elder parole and fair and timely parole with these reforms will help dismantle the toxic, violent culture of corrections in New York State.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks, Robin Brooks.
It is time to act. It is time to reimagine what justice really looks like. It is time to tear down the toxic, violent, murderous culture of correction.
Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Scape. I'm the Executive Director of the Correctional Association of New York, which is a nonprofit organization charged, as Senator Salazar said, with monitoring the state's prisons, which the organization has done for nearly 2 centuries. This looks like going into prisons to observe conditions and hear the accounts firsthand from incarcerated people about the treatment that they receive and the conditions that they are living in. We have heard the kinds of accounts that the public has now seen in that body cam footage recorded at Marcy on December 9th. And we know that this is not an isolated incident limited to Marcy Correctional Facility or its staff. And we also know from that video recording how important transparency is in order to bring about accountability and lasting reform.
Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
We are moved by Senator Salazar's leadership, and this package of bills, the prison safety is public safety slate, is crucial step toward bringing about that transparency and accountability that I believe could lead to lasting change in the prison.
Not for Robin. Robin Brooks! Robin Brooks! Robin Brooks! Robin Brooks! Robin Brooks! Robin Brooks! Shut it down! Shut it down!
In particular, the bill that would strengthen the authority of the Correctional Association of New York would grant the organization access to data and records from the department and other state agencies that will allow us to identify trends in not just use of force or unusual incidents, but also things like grievances and other complaints.
Stop. Not enough!
Not enough!
Not enough! Not enough! Not enough! Not enough! Not enough! Not enough! We're not gonna do that.
We have lived experience in this.
We're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real here.
Close
Keep it real. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it right.
In support of Senator Salazar's package here, the Prison Safety is Public Safety Act, a package of bills, these reforms are necessary first steps because without the information, without the data, without the thing that you can point to say, look, we've heard it for years, but here it is in living color, here is the proof.
They've had data for decades.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Data for decades. Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! We are the data. We are the data. We are the data. Take the data from us. We are the economics of that data. We are the economics of that data. We are the economics of that data. Oh, guys.
We have public data on our website. I
Make it public! Make it public!
Thank you,
Public
Senator
data is
Salazar,
incorrect.
for your leadership
That don't happen.
and your courageous
Coercion.
position with these bills. Thank you.
Say his name! Say his name! We will now hear from Assemblymember Dorinda Hooks from the 35th Assembly District.
Oh! Rob to go to
We are all here today for justice.
That's right.
I am a mother of a formerly incarcerated son
Come on,
who
Lorinda.
was beat
Come
by
on.
8 officers
Come on.
when he was in prison. He did a crime, he was doing his time, but that don't mean he don't get justice.
That's right.
We are here today to say that along with Robert Brooks, along with my son, along with every incarcerated individual who have crimes committed against them, we want justice.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
No more talking. It is time for reform. We've heard this story again and again, and it is this juncture right now that we have to make a change in order for everyone to be safe when they are doing their time according to what the law has said. That does not mean you get beat up. You live with long-lasting side effects from that. You don't get any, if something happens to you, you don't get any medical treatment afterwards. You get thrown in a box right after that. They are dictating what they want to do with our individuals who are incarcerated. And that stops today. We are here to say that not my son, not anybody else's son. We want reforms today.
Justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Justice for Robin Brooks! 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 Justice for Robin Brooks!
Now we will have Assemblywoman Turpin from the 86th District.
That's right.
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
I am Dorinda Tappy, Assembly Member for the 86th Assembly District from the Boogie Down Bronx.
Yes, 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 yes.
And I am the sponsor in the Assembly of the first bill that Senator Salazar just told us when she spoke. I want to thank her for her rapid response
what's happening in our jails forever. But good afternoon, everyone. And thank you again, Senator Salazar, for your leadership on this critical issue. The tragic death of Robert Brooks is not an isolated incident.
That's right. That's right.
It is a glaring reminder of the systemic violence in our prisons.
Speak truth, speak truth,
Common
speak truth.
everyday occurrence.
That's right.
Public safety isn't a real unless it includes every single one.
That's right. Right. Accountability.
On our streets, in our homes, and yes, in the care of the state. For too long, New York's prison system has been defined by a culture of impunity.
That's right. That's right.
Where violence by public employees goes unchecked.
Yes,
that ended today, guys. We are working on it.
Ain't today.
Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Say his name! Say his name!
This legislation is about accountability, transparency, and putting an end to the shameful legacy.
That's right, though. Go ahead.
Communities like mine in the Bronx feel the weight of these failures. Too many families know the harm caused by a justice system that perpetuates violence instead of rehabilitation. We owe it to Robert Brooks and every person victimized in our prisons to ensure this never happened again.
We owe it to his family.
Right.
This is about rebuilding trust, bowing dignity, and upholding justice.
That's right.
New Yorkers deserve a system that reflects our highest values, not our worst failures. Let's act now to make prisons safer.
That's right.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Hold people accountable and protect every life in the care of the state. Guys, let's do this. We can do it.
Shut it down!
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Say his name! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Robert Brooks! Yeah! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
You will now hear from Assemblymember David Webber from the 24th District.
Woo! Come on, David.
Good afternoon. I'm Assemblyman David Weprin. I now chair the Insurance Committee. Until 2023, I proudly served as chair of the Corrections Committee.
We miss you, Dave.
For 6 years. The tragic and reprehensible killing of Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility highlights the need for improved transparency and accountability in our correctional system.
That's right.
We only know the circumstances of this incident because of a transparency measure that we passed over the years, and that's body cameras. My bill, which Chair Salazar carries to the Senate, would strengthen oversight within the correctional facilities, ensuring that the Correctional Association of New York State, who we just heard from, is empowered to monitor conditions and hold facilities accountable. The bill establishes clear mechanisms to address problems preventing neglect, violence, and unsafe conditions. CANI was founded in 1844 and was tasked with monitoring prisons and to report their findings to the New York State Legislature.
Sorry, you're not doing a good job.
As the Chair of the Public.
Not that I know.
Robert Brooks' death at Marcy Correctional is a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of an unchecked system. The death highlights the urgent need
To shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
This legislation is a direct response to that call for action. Right, Eddie?
Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
Protecting the rights of incarcerated individuals, prioritizing their safety, and making it clear that reform is necessary for a just and humane system.
Say his name!
Robert Brooks!
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 No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
These bills are not about one individual. It is about ensuring that no one else suffers what Robert did. By passing these bills, we are sending a strong message that the safety of those in our prisons matter. And we are committed to a systematic change for a safer, more accountable system. I also am the prime sponsor of the Fair and Timely Parole Bill, which is about time, in memory of Robert Brooks, we should finally pass fair and timely parole and elder parole this year.
We miss you, Dave. Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
Thank you, Senator Julia Salazar, for bringing us together, and hopefully this will be the year that we'll get this done.
Say his name! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Robert Brooks!
We will now hear from the People's Caucus Chair, the person that gathered everyone together and started doing the work and really put out a strong statement regarding justice for Robert Brooks. Let us hear from Chairwoman Solange.
Say his name.
Robert Brooks!
Say his name.
Robert Brooks!
And to all the other names that we don't know about, all the other names that the families know, and that they have not been provided justice. We say their names in our heart. I stand here as one person, but I stand here also representing the Black, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, and Asian Legislative Caucus. And we demand justice. And our justice is not just going to be legislative. We want to change the system and eradicate the systematic racism that targets our community.
That's right.
And so we are tired of words. I'm not going to sit here and make a speech. I want action.
Right.
We want the package of legislative bills. We want system change. We want reallocation. We want it all. And it's sad that we have to stand here and remember Robert Brooks. He should be alive here today.
Say his name! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Robert Brooks! Say his name! Robert Brooks!
So we want accountability. We want these bills now. We don't want to wait till the end of session having discussions.
That's right.
We need to do it right up front, and we're ready to do it now.
Right now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
we don't get it, shut it down! We don't get it, shut it down!
We will now have Q&A.
Any questions from the press?
Okay, Senator,
Talk loud.
what have you gotten a response to the letter from the governor, and what did she say about your push to close Marcy? Yeah, so we've had really constructive conversations with the executive chamber, both about the situation at Marcy specifically, but also about these three bills and legislation to try to transform our prison system, and I look forward to continuing those conversations with Governor Hochul and her team.
We want to shut it down! 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 Okay, we don't want to talk to the governor. We want to shut it down! 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 That's what we here to do.
Do you want it in the budget, or where are you pushing for the rest of it?
We want it as soon as possible.
We want it closed now.
Now, shut it down! Shut it down!
up.
that it be done in the budget. The governor has the authority to direct the closure of Marcy Correctional Facility as it is right now. And so, you know, we really want to work with the executive chamber to make that happen.
And I asked the Senate leader today if she supports the closure of Marcy, and she wouldn't answer the questions.
Why not?
She just said thank you.
What's your name? Listen.
Is leadership on board with you? You discussed this with that.
We've also had constructive conversations. I will note that the authority, the ability to direct a correctional facility to close does come from government level, and that is exactly why we expressed our demands and concerns to the governor, and we'll continue to have those conversations.
Shut it down! 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 Y'all want to ask real questions and want real answers? I'll be at the chamber on the third floor. I got something for the question. Shut it down!
Uncle can close Marcy right now. She doesn't need anyone.
I got a question, Ken. What about Fishkill, Auburn, and the other facilities? What about
Shut it down! Shut it down! All them slave plantations need to be shut down.
Have you discussed with the union about getting, having to, if you want officers making fires more easily? Have you started conversations about getting that done?
We're open to discussing this with the correction unions, but I want to make it very clear. The fact is, we need the commissioner to have the ability to hire officers because
All workers are going to have to
Closing Marcy is a step in the right direction. We want the rest of the police. We don't want them to die. You about abusing us. We don't care about the union. You about fucking us up. We don't care about the union. We don't care about the union. Fuck the union. Stand the union. Get rid of the union.
We don't care about no unions. We care about justice. Those are not the questions and answers.
this question is relevant to organizing for prisons to be closed. It is relevant to organizing for justice, not only for Robert Brooks, but in every case. And the reason is we are most effective in our organizing when we have a target we can move. You cannot pressure a faceless arbitrator to do the right thing. But
What do we want?
Justice.
Who we want it for? 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 Who we want it Listen, a black man was killed by 14 officers for no other reasons because he was a black man. That's what's happening here. We don't care about no union. We don't care about no union. We don't care about no union. A black man was killed while he was handcuffed because he was a black man. I've been in 35 years in the Department of Corrections, and I can't remember one white prisoner that was killed by white officers. Not one. This is about race in America.
It's about justice and accountability.
No police. There's no police.
one white person that been killed by the election. You can't name one white person that's been killed by the union.
You talk about the union. We don't care about the union. Their job is to protect the officers. Not get justice.
Arrest them. Convict them. Like you convict.
Not justice.
Wait, time out. You know how to do the law. when it's
Because
against
man
us.
is not in there.
But you don't forget how to execute the law against white people? You lock up black people every day. Give them 100,000 years. 14 folks on camera.
This shit's been going on.
On camera.
Been going on.
On camera.
Did you talk to the union?
I'm
was subject to that. I got testimony in the shoulder. I was subject to this shit.
The governor to make arrests. We want the DA to make arrests. We don't care about the unions. Make
What
arrests.
happened to care, custody,
Make
and control?
arrests.
Care, custody, and control.
Negotiate
Stop
with the
killing
union.
our inmates. Stop killing our women, our
You want to
men.
negotiate a pension with the union?
No negotiation.
They want to negotiate pensions with the union. We don't want to negotiate pensions.